The boxer. I say, did you miss me? And it's Fresh Friday, man. As you can see, I'm up here chilling in the hotel room, The kid out here in Vegas, you know what I'm saying? About to get that Zuffa work. You know what I'm saying? We got Jamar No Mercy Tally going up February the 1st, which is a Sunday, and the second Zuffa show. And we looking to get a fighter of the night. You know what I'm saying? Get that 50K bonus because that's what they doing out here. They giving out bonuses, boy. They paying them boys. You hear me, huh? Shout out to Zuffa, man. So in the light of Zuffa, I'm doing my thing. We out here just chilling, like I said. But you know what I'm saying? It's Fresh Friday. You hear me? It was a crazy day in boxing. Tomorrow gonna be even crazier. And I thought I had to say something. I thought I'd come on here and, you know what I'm saying, give my little take because the stuff was crazy. Oh my God. The weigh-ins was crazy. The aftermath was crazy, man. So, you know what I'm saying? I couldn't let the day pass. Plus, I want to come and talk to y'all guys and give y'all a little something. We got the World Championship at 140 going up. Against Teofimo Lopez defending his championship against Mr. Umbedo Shakur Stevenson. Okay, so in light of that, you feel me? I want to do a little history lesson for the guys. I want to shine some light on the division, you know what I'm saying, and give y'all a little background on how it started and some notable champions and fights. Shout out to everybody in the chat. Appreciate you. Like I said, you know who it is. You know what it is. It's yours truly. It's Bernie the Boxer. I say, did you miss me? Yeah, boy. Let's go. You know what I'm saying? Like I say, I got the, what I call the Bible of boxing, you know what I'm saying, right in front of me. And, like I say, I want to give a little history of the division. This is a big fight. It's one of the most anticipated fights probably since Pacquiao, Ricky Hatton, which ended in a spectacular knockout. And so I want to just give you all a little history on the division, the 140-pound division, which is junior welterweight or super lightweight, however you want to call it, was established in 1922. Now, the reason how the division was started was a guy named Pinky Mitchell was the first champion. Now, Mitchell didn't win the championship in the ring, okay? His manager, Mr. Mike Collins, who was a publisher for a boxing magazine called the Minnesota Weekly. Okay, he was the manager and had interest in Pinky Mitchell. Now, Pinky Mitchell, he couldn't necessarily make the 35-pound limit comfortable, and he really wasn't a full-blown welterweight. So that's why the junior welterweight division was made. You know what I mean? They came up with it. You know what I'm saying? Mike Collins, okay, came up with the junior welterweight division, and that was in 1922. Okay, Mitchell was matter of fact, it's the Boxing Blade. The Boxing Blade was the publication, 1922. He was an editor for it, and he was also the manager for Pinky Mitchell. So the division was made in 1922. He lost the title to Mushy Callahan. Mushy Callahan ended up becoming like he also worked in his story is in the 40 World Champions Tell Their Story. And actually, he was like a boxing consultant for Hollywood later in life after holding the World's Championship. Mushy Callahan was stripped of the title of the NBA at the time. England didn't believe in the championship. They didn't recognize it as a world championship as a division. And Mushy Callahan ended up losing it to Kid Berg, who was from England actually. And he was only recognized by New York State. Back then, you had New York State and you had the NBA, which later turned into the WBA. Okay, so I was trying to figure out when I'm doing my research where the Ring magazine was involved in that, but the NBA championship looked similar to the Ring. I have a photo of it because, like I said, I was doing my research and everything like that to try to show y'all something. But you can see the Ring, see the magazine, see the championship right here, which looks similar like the Ring. That's the original NBA championship, which evolved into the WBA championship. But anyway, with some notable champions in the division. The first Mexican champion was a guy named Jose Perez Flores. News to me for real. So that's who was the first Mexican champion. He lost the title to Tony Canzanieri, who was the featherweight champion at one time and the lightweight champion. Tony Canzanieri was holding both of the titles. He lost both of those titles. Actually, he lost both of those titles to Barney Ross. Barney Ross ended up defending the title 6 times. and he dropped it in 1935. And the title wasn't used until 1946. So from 1935 to 1946, the junior welterweight division didn't have a champion. They wasn't using the division. Now, you know, the original 8 weight classes, it was originally 8 weight classes. But around like the 30s and the 40s, they started to introduce junior divisions, like junior lightweight division, you know, like I say, junior welterweight division and stuff like that. So, like I say, Barney Ross held those titles. He had won both of those titles from Tony Canzanieri, the 40-pound title and the 35-pound title. And so, like I say, they stopped using it from 1935 to 1946, and then again, the title went out of use to 1959 till Carlos Ortiz. I think he ended up winning the championship. So yeah. The 140-pound division, it's been around, but it's had its ups and downs. You know, it's obviously established division right now. You know, we've had some great fights come along in the division. We had some great champions. And I just got a couple of notes right here. You know, the first black champ was Eddie Perkins from Chicago. It was another guy that I wanted to tell y'all about that I didn't know. You know what I'm saying? So it's all to me. His name was Bruno Acari of Italy. He had 9 title defenses, only 2 defeats in 78 fights, and one of them was his pro debut. So, you know, we got a guy with 78 fights with 2 losses, a junior welterweight champion. You don't know much about him, from Italy, Bruno Acari. Like I say, and one of those was his first title defense, was his pro debut, excuse me. Of course, you know, you had the great Roger Mayweather, who won the world championship. He was the 30-pound champion, and he won the 40-pound championship. He lost that to Chavez, you know, the great Julio Cesar Chavez, who's arguably the greatest 140-pound champion. You know, he had a couple of reigns at junior welterweight, and I think that's where he made his mark at, losing that title to in an upset to Frankie Randall, you know, in 1993 after like 89 wins and 0 losses. Also, it was talking. I was doing my research, and you know, they was talking about a guy, about Shakur, the guy fighting. He was an electrician, and you know, boxing is a poor man's sport, and you know, sometimes guys had other jobs to do besides boxing. You know, they just couldn't afford to just fight. You know, so this guy Terry Marsh, he was a firefighter. He was a firefighter, won the IBF championship, and retired because of epilepsy. He had signed to fight Camacho, but he retired because he had epilepsy. So I think they said the day after he signed to fight Camacho, he retired because of his epilepsy. He said it was because of a diet issue. That's what caused the epilepsy. Yeah. So then the first guy, it was a Thailand guy. His name was Marga Suring from Thailand. Only had 3 pro fights. He had a lot of kickboxing fights in Thailand, but he only had 3 pro fights, and he won the world championship, the WBC title. So a lot of stuff people don't know. You know, I think when Lomachenko was on his rise and won the title, maybe his 3rd fight, you know, I think he matched this guy Surin for winning the championship in the fastest time, which was his 3rd fight. You know, he beat Gary Russell to win the world championship in his 3rd fight after losing to Orlando Salido in his first attempt to win the world championship. But you know, boxing is the rabbit hole goes deep. You know, it's a lot of fighters that get missed and passed up and unknown. But you know, like I say, this guy Acari, you know, had 9 title defenses, only lost 2 fights in 78 fights. You know, and one of them was his pro debut. So it's a lot of champions out there that we can miss, you know, in this boxing game. But yeah, so I want to just share a couple of things with you guys. Appreciate everybody in the chat, man. You know, it's Fresh Friday. And what else did I have on the list for you guys? Yeah, so you know, some notable champions, like I say, was Barney Ross, Tony Canzanieri. It was another guy I was thinking of. His name was Tippy Larkin from Jersey. Shout out to Jersey. Let me see what on my notes here. Hold on, because I had to do some notes. I couldn't think of everything. I couldn't remember everything. Maybe I didn't put it up there. Could have swore I did. Okay, the first Filipino champ was Roberto Cruz. Okay, Roberto Cruz, first Filipino champ. But anyway, like I say, the 40-pound division was started. The guy didn't ever win. His name was Pinky Mitchell. He never won the championship. It was an invention of his manager, who was a publisher for the Boxing Blade. It was actually in the Minnesota Weekly was the paper, or I think the Boxing Blade, Minnesota Weekly, something like that. But yeah, that's how the title was won. That's how it was born in 1922. Pinky Mitchell, the first champ, NBA champ, which evolved into the WBA. Now, okay, now the history lesson's over. What the is going on out there in New York? What was going on out there? What was going on out there? What? What? Shout out to my boy Bud Crawford. Shout out to the champ. See, he got Fighter of the Year by the Ring magazine, which, you know what I'm saying, really not a surprise. He definitely deserved the champion, win the title of Fighter of the Year. You know, it was some close. He had some good company, you know, with Inouye and a couple other fighters. He had some good company, but I think he definitely deserved it on the strength of this. Like I said, Inouye had 4 title defenses, but he lost. He got dropped in one of those fights. Let me say that. Not lost, but he got dropped in one of those fights. And he won all the fights, you know, and he had 4 title defenses. But listen, Crawford arguably went up 3 weight divisions, beat not only the face of boxing, but Canelo was a well-accomplished champion, a long-reigning champion, a dominant champion, and a pound-for-pounder, you know, so, and was in the top 3 pound-for-pound. So definitely Crawford going up, being a smaller man, starting out at lightweight and going all the way up to 68 for real. Only person ever did that was Roberto Duran. And so that's pretty rare company. And he did it in fashion, won easy, pretty much, took him to school, and, you know, just put on a masterpiece performance. So who not to win to the Fighter of the Year? Shout out to Bud Crawford. Feel me? Shout out to the champ. Boy, ain't nobody. They gonna miss you when you gone. They missing you already, man. They want you to come back so bad. But you know, hey, you should have loved him when he was here. Okay. Shout out to Bud. Okay. So listen, man, what the tomorrow is a hell of a man. It's the anticipation is through the roof, you know. The anticipation is through the roof. The weigh-ins were very lively. You know, everybody was like real amped up against each other. I don't understand that. You know, I don't understand the animosity so much for real. I don't understand just because you fighting this guy, you got to have like, you need extra incentive besides him trying to kick your ass. You know what I mean? I don't know. That's just enough for me that he signed up to fight me to beat his ass. But, you know, a lot of talking and up close and, you know, kind of whatever we want to call it, posturing a lot. You know, I seen Shushu getting crazy, you know what I'm saying, and getting all, I just don't understand it. I really don't understand it. Seeing Keyshawn getting crazy, poke the man in the face, and, you know what I'm saying, and T.O. acting all crazy and weird, and, you know, it just don't make no sense. I was glad Shakur did go over there. And face him like, man, get your bitch ass over here, boy. Stop playing, nigga. This ain't no motherfucker. Stop playing, nigga. You know what I mean? You done did your tactics. You didn't break dance. You didn't did, but boy, come on. Feel me? Ain't nothing else to say. You can go over there and do that shit after the fact. You know what I'm saying? But he went over there, got with him. And, you know, it's a lot of animosity going on in that camp. It's a lot going on. I listened to Shakur, like he said, I thought about slapping him. I thought he did because old boy was just being outrageous. I don't understand what's up with that. The homosexuality things, I just don't get that for real. And it's disrespectful to a fella like how he was being, was just like, boy, don't you talk like that to me. I slapped the ooh, but he know where he at. That's why I don't like weak shit like that. You know what I'm saying? If he say that like probably outside of that situation, you feel me? He know the consequences gonna probably come swift. But because, you know what I'm saying, he know he got kind of like got the kid's hands tied so much, you know, he kind of just using that to, you know. And then you see his bitch ass, you know how he went over there and said to Ortiz, talking about, I hope you beat his ass and stuff like that. That's why motherfuckers don't like T.O., because for real, he like cold-blooded bitch though, for real. Like just pussy shit, weak shit, you know. Just weak shit, you know what I'm saying? Just weak shit he be doing. But anyway, the anticipation is through the roof. Like I said, you know, some notable championships we had, of course, was Chavez Taylor, which was 1990 March, was St. Patrick's Day, 1990, in a hell of a fight. You know, Chavez won at 2 seconds to go. Melvin Taylor was up the whole time. And, you know, it was a fascinating fight. You know, it looked like Melvin Taylor was just whooping him, but Chavez was catching him in between, busted him up. And I'm never going to stop saying that. I think that man gloves was tampered. Chavez never did that in his life. He never busted nobody up the way Mildred Taylor was. Never in his life after that, before or after that. Nobody never looked so bad the way Mildred Taylor looked. I think his gloves was doctor. I think he had a whole lot on the line, and he was not going to lose to Mildred Taylor. He was going to do whatever he had to do to win, and I think his gloves was doctor. Even though how great he was, I still think he chose to cheat. I can go on about that situation and about other little stuff that I feel. You seen Margarito, you know what I'm saying? And I don't know if it's in the culture or what, but I don't want to just put the label on everybody, but you know what I'm saying? It kind of seems like, to get the advantage, they willing to stoop, stoop a little low. You feel me? So on that side, but any rate, that's just my take on that. Like I said, I just couldn't. That made me just thinking about how he did Melody Taylor. Something. There's no way that he did him like that. He had to have his gloves doctored somehow, some way. Even though he was catching them in between. But come on, Chavez don't hit that hard, bro. All right. But yeah, that's one of the most notable fights at 140. Like I say, the inception in 1922 has had some ups and downs, in the division, but now is here to stay. Has some great champions. Like I said, Roger Mayweather, Manny Pacquiao, Buddy McGirt, who Mildred Taylor beat for the title in the IBF championship. So it has some really great fighters in the division. It's here to stay. Crawford, of course, was the undisputed champion at 140. Shout out to Crawford. You feel me? You know what I mean? Made his mark on the division. So it's here to stay. But tomorrow it's going to be a hell of a fight because we just don't know how it's going to go. I don't know. Maybe Shakur pull out another gear in his arsenal. I'm hoping that if he does hurt him, that he does step to him and try to put more pressure on him, because I was just thinking, with the fight with Zepeda, right? He fought a hell of a fight with him and banged with him and everything, but I feel like, like a Mayweather probably would have stopped Zepeda, almost in the light of how he did Jesus Chavez, who threw a lot of punches and was a pressure fighter. I think Mayweather probably would have stopped him. So I'm looking for Shakur to find a way to like maybe press him a little bit more, put a little bit more pressure on him if he hurts him. I seen a clip where he was watching with Showbiz, and he caught T.O. got caught with that uppercut with Barbosa off the ropes. And like I say, so Shakur, with him reaching, Shakur make you reach and catch him. Shakur could put him down. T.O. already been down against Kambosos. Now you got to think too, just like we always try to say, everybody try to say Devin Haney couldn't punch, but he put Norman down. Okay, so everybody trying to put this stigma on Shakur that he can't punch. And like I say, that he had a heavier weight. He been working really hard. He's super motivated. And, when the momentum is going toward, force meeting force, could cause a knockdown. So I wouldn't put it past him. Like I say, if Barbosa can run him into a trap and catch and counter, or, I think Shakur is more than capable of doing that. So, like I said, oh man. So, like I say, the junior welterweight division is definitely on the spot tomorrow night. And, man, I can't wait. I'm super excited. Of course, you got Keyshawn the Businessman Davis, or the amazing Keyshawn Davis, going up against Jermaine Ortiz. And them boys is in shape. Ortiz is in shape. He's pretty motivated too. Like I say, this could be his last shot. He had a couple chances, at the chip, getting a signature win on his record. And, he come up just short, So he probably trying to find a medium in this. But he's fighting a more dynamic fighter in Keyshawn Davis, who's a puncher. A quick, he throws punches in combinations, really, he doubles up on his left hands and his right hands. He can move. He got great defense, and he's a mean fighter in there, and he's not afraid to mix it up. Now, I was thinking too, in Jermaine Ortiz, he's not that big of a puncher. I think he's a solid puncher, but he's not that big of a puncher. So that might not bode well in his favor. He might not have enough to keep Keyshawn off of him. So, the weigh-in was lively. The face-off was crazy. Keyshawn bringing the energy, which he, Keyshawn for real, really Debo though, for real. Keyshawn for real, really Debo. They call Debo, but Keyshawn really Debo though. He really be on people. He really be fucking with people all the time. He really come bother you and shit, get in your face every time when he catch you. You know what I'm saying? Keyshawn be standing on business. He be on you. You know what I mean? He did it to Frank Martin. You know what I mean? Everybody he get into it with. You know, he when he see you, he on you. You see him was had to face off with Bill Haney. So you know what I'm saying? Really Keyshawn Debo though, for real. Keyshawn be trying to Debo people for real. Low key, straight up. Keyshawn be trying to Debo people for real. So, you know what I'm saying? They call Dev Debo, but no, I think Keyshawn really take that, man. So see how he just, man, put his finger in old boy face. Keyshawn crazy as hell, boy, man. But you know, hey, whatever you gotta do to get in that ring to get your blood flowing and, you know, whatever you got to do to try to psych the guy out, you know, it's psychological welfare. And, you know what I'm saying? The kid he working on that craft, you know what I'm saying? Trying to be an expertise in that, you know. So shout out to Keyshawn Davis. Can't wait. Like I say, the buzz is going up so crazy, you know, for the fights tomorrow because it's a lot on the line for Keyshawn. You know, it's really a lot on the line for both guys. You know, Shakur is seen as Mr. Unbeatable. And, you know, he's fighting a guy who's in his prime, you know, still in his late 20s, possibly his prime. He's already been tested, you know, with the likes of Josh Taylor, who was undisputed champion, stripped of his titles for, I can't remember why. Lomachenko, who was, of course, a decorated gold medalist, unified champion, arguably undisputed. But he missed, no, he wasn't because he didn't have the IBF championship. He was only missing the IBF championship, which Teofimo did by knocking out Richard Comey. So he was, Lomachenko was never undisputed champion, but he had 3 portions of the title. And Teofimo was able to overcome him and capture the other championships in which, you know, pretty much he became undisputed. I know Devin was like upgraded to champion because Lomachenko, which he won the title. Lomachenko won the title against Luke Campbell, if I'm not mistaken. And they took some franchise route or something like that. But whatever it is, Teofimo has seen the mountaintop, you know, and Shakur has seen the mountaintop, but not on the highest stage like Teofimo. So this is his big chance to stamp his reputation as being Mr. Unbeatable, as being one of the faces of boxing, probably the face of boxing, probably being the pound-for-pound #1 guy, you know, in boxing. And this is his chance. So, oh, my God. No, I'm in Vegas, man. I'm in Vegas with Jamar Talley. We going up on Zuffa. You feel me? We going up on Zuffa in the second show out here in Vegas, man, at the Apex Center. Got Jamar Talley from Camden, New Jersey. You know what I'm saying? Going up. So, I can't wait for that, and I'm super excited for him. So if you ain't following Jamar Talley, XL, you feel me, go follow him. No mercy, man. You know what I'm saying? Up and coming, top amateur he was, Olympic status type of guy. You know, this is our 6th fight. I think we 5-0, and we looking for a spectacular knockout. And you know what I'm saying? Camden, stand up. Shout out to Jamar Talley, Jersey. Yeah, I'm in Vegas, man. I'm at the Whoopty Wop. I'm at the Palace Station. Okay, so everything is good. You know what I'm saying? I really would have liked to be out there, but work is work. And I'm happy being over here. We're going to go watch the fights tomorrow, and it's going to be a hell of a boxing show tomorrow. Got Carlos Adames pulled from the show from dehydration. Oh, my goodness. You know what I'm saying? Oh, man, I was looking for Carlos Adames. But, you know, health is wealth, and you got to take care of yourself. A lot of people saying he should move up, you know, but he is the middleweight champion right now. And wish him well wishes on his speedy recovery. You know, you got Xander Zayas going up in unification against Abras, you know what I'm saying, somewhere in Puerto Rico. You got Mirza Talayoff in the 54-pound title fighting against what? Tomorrow is a boxing fan's dream. Tomorrow is a boxing fan's dream. You know, it's almost like NFL weekend or something, playoff weekend, because, you know, it's a who's who of boxing. And I'm excited tomorrow, like I say. And when the fights is on, it just make me seem like I got so much to do. And with the stakes couldn't be no higher. Ooh, we going through the roof, boy. Oh man, Madison Square Garden, the roof, the rafters gonna come off that thing. You know what I'm saying? They gonna raise the roof out that mud. All right, so anyway. Listen, man, let me get to a couple little comments. Excuse my language. Let me get to a few comments, not little comments, because all you guys' comments are big. Thank you for subscribing to the channel. Please, if you haven't subscribed to the channel, please subscribe to the channel. Please like this video. Please share this video. You feel me? Please comment after the fact that I stopped going live. I do respond to comments. I love interacting with my fans because without you guys who support me in any way possible, I wouldn't be here. You know, it's because of y'all. The people make everything. So shout out to the people. Appreciate you. All right. Crypto OG says, it's the Super Bowl of boxing. Yes, tomorrow night. Yes. It's crazy, bro. Crazy. Big X says, shout out, salute, chat. Appreciate you. Boy, but no, I got to get myself together. Miss Johnson, what's up, Annie? What's up, Annie? I got Jersey in the house, you feel me? Suge Knight Cigars. Appreciate you, salute. Bernie, hope the Zuffa show goes well. Yes, they treating us real good. You know, they doing real good. They treating us real good. You know, they got incentives for the fighter of the night. They're paying the guys more for the rounds. You know, like I say, they're treating us real well. They giving us all this fresh gear, gave us fresh bags, gave us fresh, you know what I'm saying, merchandise, you know what I mean? Because they trying to grow their brand, and it's cool. So shout out to Zuffa. Mama, I'm good. Nah, I quit. He said, you smoke gas, gang? I quit, bro. I quit, bro. I'm like 6-7 months in, 6 months, something like that. I'm quit, man. I just decided that wasn't for me no more. You know, it's a great pastime. It's a fun activity, you know, but it really wasn't part of me growing up. It's something that I did after I stopped boxing, and you know, just as a rate, it's like a, what you call that, social type thing. But, you know, I like to keep my head more clear, you know. It do give you a little calm, but nah. It's so many drawbacks to it. You know, I decided it's not for me. Okay. Said, just watching boxing recently. Where have you been? I'm going, he said, crazy, Bo says, who you got? I got Shakur, man. I'm going with Shakur, man. I like Shakur's character. You know, I don't really like T.O.'s character. You know, I don't understand what's all the antics for. You know, he got the weirdness that he be on, bro. I don't even know what that's like. I don't like the wishy-washy, you know what I'm saying? 1 minute you this way, the next behind the man's back you this way. When you get approached, you apologize, and you know what I'm saying? So it ain't that much attention seeking in the world. You know, that's the only person like that. That's a hoe, you know, looking for so much attention. So I really don't rock with him like that. I think Shakur, you know, he's coming from the old school. You know, he's always looking for the challenge. He always, like I say, he's always asking for the challenges. Tomorrow night he has his biggest challenge. And, you know, I just like the way he move. I like the way he think. I like his attitude. So I'm going with Shakur, you know, out of all things, besides I know him personally and I was able to work with him. And, you know, I like that. He's close to the camp. You know, I just like, if I did not know him, I like his attitude. You know, I think he wants to be, you know, he's under the motor to Jay Prince, who's an OG, you know, and I think he's trying to go into that mode. You know, he's not looking for, not going to go outside his character or devalue his dignity, you know, to be something that he's not. You know, he just going to stay within his envelope and do him. And so I like that about him. L.A. Sparks says, shout out to Jamar Talley and Zuffa. Yep. He says, I would like to order the fight, but I don't want to see Shakur run all night. I doubt it. No, them guys, like I said, you know, that fight, I'm telling you, that fight is going to be more like Zab Judah and Floyd Mayweather for real. I think that fight, that's how it's going to be. High stakes, high pace, you know. I think it's going to be one of those type of fights. You know, I think styles make fights. I think it's going to be something like that. Shakur, he's not a runner for real. If you really watch him and y'all keep going, speaking to that narrative, once I start doing my shows in studio and I got the film, we're going to go through things like that. I want to go and like show you that this guy really not running. You know, this guy is not really a mover for real. You know, he actually spends a lot of times on the ropes, you know, so definitely moving is part of your defense in boxing and part of your offense, you know, but, you know, I wouldn't call him a runner. So we got to stop just going with every narrative that's put out there. You know, it's too many narratives going on. We have to change the narrative, or at least go think for yourself. Don't just repeat what you've seen, what you heard, you know what I'm saying? And just whatever you hear everybody else say. Do it yourself. Do your own research. Malcolm Little. Nice. Malcolm Little. Yes, sir. Seeing kind of being next to Keyshawn, he was looking, man, ain't he? I swear that, man, Keyshawn look big as hell. Being small, man. Being small, man. Being is small, man. I was thinking the same. And Jermaine Ortiz was small too, though. Keyshawn. Damn. Keyshawn probably what, 5'9"? Jermaine Ortiz was like 5'7", 5, something like that. Keyshawn looked big as hell. Keyshawn looked big as hell, man. Damn, but I think he looked perfect. You know what I'm saying? I think he perfect. 147 is his weight. Like I say, if you listen to anything like he said, he really, you know, when he just chilling and really and kind of working a little bit, his weight maintained about 146. You know what I'm saying? Pretty about 146. So that's pretty good, you know, to make 140. I think that's perfect. You know, if you're walking around at 146, you know, usually those guys at 47 walking around at 170, 165, you know, so 146 is good. And I think 140 is going to be great. Bernie, you know your boxing. I do a lot of reading. And I used to read so much, you know, and that's how I remember I retain the information. But, you know, I got to give a shout out to all the researchers, you know, because I just read the stuff and I'm very interested and I love boxing history. So I just read it and, you know what I'm saying, I just really recite it. But I'm definitely in tune with it. You know, I'm grateful that somebody has documented these things and was able to put them into books and magazines for my enjoyment. And yours too. Okay. Hey, he says, John Toledo says, hey, Coach Bernie, I'm John Clark from Toledo. What up, though? Shout out to Toledo. Shout out to Toledo. I fought a guy from Toledo, man. I mess with Toledo. Shout out to all the guys in Toledo up there, man. I fought a guy named Charles. I forget his name, Charles something. But anyway, he gave me a lot of problems in the Nationals, 2003? Man, that boy was fast, man. I thought he was a jackrabbit. That boy was bouncing all over the place, hitting me from places I couldn't even see him. I ended up getting the victory, though. Hurt him with the body. Shout out to Toledo, though. Who else I got? You know, got E-Bunny from Toledo. Got Big Baby. Shout out to Big Baby, man. Where is Big Baby? Big Baby, where are you? Big Baby, where are you? Okay, come on, man. God, dog, man. All that talent. Say the saddest thing in life is wasted talent, fella. Come on, baby. This how you gonna get to the money. You gotta fight for it. Money truck don't come to front doors, man. Listen, if you want to get the bag, you gotta fight. Via Cash, appreciate you. What's good, B? Can't wait for T.O. Damn. Can't wait for T.O. Shakur Tom. What? Whatever, man. Hey, listen. So, wow. He did say that damn time. That's crazy. They did jump the kid. Did you see the way they pulled him out? Oh, that was crazy. He had his hands on his face, and then next thing you know, he jumped up. I didn't see him jumping up. It's a clip, but, you know, he had them boys shook, boy. Them boys was scared to death when he got up. For real. They was acting like they was backing up, scary looking, like, you know, but they did the kid wrong, man. They jumped him, man. I don't know. And I don't know what happened, man. I swear I don't know. You know, Devin Haney get a lot of hate, you know, and I think because, you know, he kind of he did some kind of like be doing little fidgety shit, little pussy shit he be doing, you know what I'm saying? And I've been firsthand of that, you know, outside of his fighting, his character kind of, I think it's a little flawed, you know what I mean? Outside of him being a good fighter and everything else that come along, I think his character a little flawed, and that's why people don't fuck with Devin Haney like that for real. And it really be the fighters, you know what I'm saying? It's like, nigga, you be acting like a little bitch sometime, you know, but so I don't know what that is, but, you know, Tiger trying to make his way. He's coming off a great knockout against Nicholas Floss, you know, he's trying to make his way, trying to put an impression on somebody to get a fight, probably talking his way into a fight. And I don't know what happened. You know, everybody's rowdy. There's a lot of commotion going on. There's a lot of testosterone in the house. You know what I'm saying? A lot of egos flaring. And, you know, I from what they said, he got into it with Devin Haney's brother, and everybody jumped on him, which was weak as fuck. You know what I'm saying? Weak as fuck. Any jumping is weak as fuck. I never been a jumper in my life. I want all my credit to the homies. Just stay back. Let me get him. Okay. He says, anyway, is a bad man, but Bud is Bud, huh? Shh. Say it again. Weekend at Bernie's. Exactly. In my DVT voice. Exactly. Hot Rod says, a lot of energy in this event. Yes, sir. Yeah, you seen T.O., man. He been opening up a little bit, man. You know, so they've been knowing each other a long time. Yeah, he opened up about, you know, them having the club, the winners club, and him not, you know, being a finalist or being a semi-finalist all the time. You know, but like I say, the amateurs is tough. You know, everybody can't win. I think I had a better pro style myself and was a quarterfinalist and things like that. So I think I had a better pro style. And some fighters got a better pro style. And some shine in the amateurs and can't do good in the pros. Some do pretty good in the amateurs and be great pros. Some are just great amateurs and great pros. But the amateurs is it's a learning curve, because like I say, you can get a lot of glory, but you only get medals in the amateurs. You're not getting paid. And when you become a prize fighter, that's the biggest prize, and that's when the stakes raise, get higher. So pros is where it's at, but amateurs definitely get you ready. With some great fighters in the amateurs. Fighting different countries is definitely a plus. Fighting the best fighters in the country is definitely a plus when you're trying to grow your game and trying to be a complete fighter and a good fighter. See where you at. So, but he was open up about that. Like saying he was the nerd and everything like that, which is, new information because now they pitted against each other so he can say different things. He didn't have no reason to say that in his previous fights, but now, it's kind of memories is flooding back because of the situation. So, good stuff, great stuff to hear, but he just a bitch to me. I can't stand to. I hope he get his ass whooped. I swear to God, I hope he beat his ass. He says, how would you temper the gloves? How would you temper the gloves? Like I say, it's always, you seen it. Another point example about that was the Luis Resto fight with Billy Collins. Billy Collins was an Irish guy from Tennessee. He was making his way up in the rankings. He fought Luis Resto. It's a big old documentary on that, And the guy pulled the pad out the gloves. What's his name? Panama Lewis got banned from boxing after that. So it's just they find ways. You see, Margarito got caught right before Shane. That's the most recent. So they find ways. And then I think back in 1990, man, and Chavez was huge. He was already an icon. So he probably let stuff slide. You know what I'm saying? And probably don't be as and then like I say, some stuff they just don't really pay attention to. Luis Resto, that was 83. That was 7 years later. This stuff going on. Chavez so great, and probably nobody expected that, and he probably never did it until that fight for real. I'm just making up. I don't know. I don't necessarily want to accuse him for real. I can't say, but I find it suspicious that the way the way Taylor's face looked it during that fight is kind of suspect since nobody else had looked like that. I think he busted up, what's the fella's name? Edwin Rosario pretty good too, but not to the extent of Taylor's. Nah. And Taylor was outpointing him 9-1. He was hitting him 9 punches to 1. I mean, Chavez, he hit pretty hard, but come on now. It's like I say, that face, the way his face looked was grotesque. Come on, bro. Buddy was peeing blood for, nah. Shakur by 12-round decision. Yes, that fight took a lot out of Taylor. He was never the same. And like I'm saying, something had to be from that. Something had the beating he took. Something had to be from that. And his punches he was never hitting with like combinations. He was hitting like ones and twos. Man, and yet something was something. Big money brings cheaters. Bernie, the new challenge looking good. Appreciate you, Jersey. Appreciate you. Hey, Bernie, some Madison Square Garden legendary fights. Well, that was the mecca of boxing at first, especially in like the early 1920s and the 30s and the 40s. That's when the Madison Square Garden went up real big. Boxing was big probably in Vegas, like Reno and stuff like that. The biggest fights were by Tex Ricker, who brought you Joe Gans versus Battling Nelson in a 42-round fight where Joe Gans was the champion but looked like the challenger, treated him like the challenger, went 42 rounds and won the fight on a disqualification in 1906, who happened to be the first African-American champion, if you want to call him that. The first black champion was Joe Gans, okay? Jack Johnson was the first black heavyweight champion, but the first black champion, I'm going to take that back. Now we talking about American champion. The first black man to ever hold a title, if you want to call it that, the first black man to hold a title was George Dixon, Little Chocolate, who was the bantamweight champion from Canada, was the bantamweight champion, the featherweight champion. Actually, he was the first featherweight champion, if I'm not mistaken. Not only was the first black champion, but he was the first black featherweight champion was Little Chocolate's George Dixon from Canada. So, yeah, man, the Madison Square Garden it's been a lot of great fights. at Madison Square Garden. I can't think of any off the top besides Muhammad Ali, Joe Frazier. You know what I'm saying? What do they call it? The fight of the century? Huh? There's a lot of fight of the centuries, but the fight of the century, oh man. So what, the 1971 March 8th? Yep. Joe Frazier solidified himself as the champion. They took the title from Muhammad Ali from not going to the war. So they stripped him of the title. Appreciate the $2. Yes, sir. Stripped him of the title. Joe Frazier won New York State recognition and went on to consolidate with Ali once he got his license back, and they fought for the undisputed championship to who was the champion. And, I think it was great for Joe Frazier on the strength that, it wasn't his fault that Ali got stripped of the championship. He had won the title in his absence, and he made it, he solidified himself as the champion of the world. Maybe if Joe Frazier wouldn't have won that fight, I don't know how his career would have went, and Ali wouldn't have been as great. Probably it probably spurred Ali. Fights came easy to him, winning came easy to him, and that fight showed him a lot about himself. He learned a lot in that fight. In himself, and he was able to come back, like I say, and beat George Foreman for his second reign as heavyweight champion in 1974, which was 10 years, a little bit 10 years and later, 10 years and 8 months, because he won in February 25th, which is my birthday, when he beat Sonny Liston. Okay, then he won, October? Was it the 8th? October the 8th? Something like that, against George Foreman, 1974, knocked out George Foreman over there in Zaire, Africa, to win the championship. So, but anyway, shout out to Joe Frazier, shout out to Ali, man. We've been working with Nico Ali, the grandson of the greatest. You feel me? So, stand up. Just the guys say stand up. Hit the like, hit the subscribe. Do something for me, guys. Do something. I appreciate all the likes. You know what I'm saying? I got 69 in the building. I got 61 on the likes. Appreciate you. Feel me? Appreciate everybody. That boy look in shape for real. They, and that's how you want it. No excuses. Tomorrow is no excuses. Tomorrow is no excuses. Man, like I say, you got Shushu going up for his first world title. And Shushu, Shushu was a bad dude when you think about it. Shushu was a small guy. He could have fought at 125 pounds, but he fought at 141 in the amateurs, man. And them guys, they still be cheating at, like, not saying cheating, but you got guys like I'm saying, that really drain themselves to make weight to have an advantage. And for Shushu to fight at his normal weight, was crazy. And to be the national champion. Did y'all know that about Shushu? He was the national Golden Glove champion at 141, which is crazy. That's crazy. Them 41-pounders be big than a motherfucker. But like I'm saying, he won the national championship, the true championship, in 141. So shout out to Shushu, fighting his first championship fight. For some odd reason, they stripped Stephen Fulton of the championship. And now he's fighting a guy that kind of gave him a lot of trouble, a fellow who's only lost in world championship fights, not a gimme fight. And I thank the God they not just he's fighting for the championship on a big stage, which is great. Instead of getting bumped up because he's the interim champ. You see what they did there, Billy? You see, boy, it just don't make no sense. Have some consistency, WBC. Have some consistency, WBC. Have some consistency. I mean, this is why, you know what I'm saying? Like, obviously, you talk all this integrity, talk all this, like, want to be right for the sport, want to change the sport, want to grow the sport, want to help, want to be, but then you upgrade a guy like Billy for the title. Come on, bro. He just coming off a draw. Ain't no way he should be upgraded to the champion. Now, them guys, him and Lester, they should rematch for the title. He should rematch for the title. You just upgrade him to the championship. And like I'm saying, and Billy, there's no way. I understand that you know what I'm saying, they giving it to you and you don't want to turn down a gift, because that's basically what it was, a gift. None of his titles have been, he's never fought for the world title. He's the interim champion. So to be upgraded to the champion is crazy to me. I just don't agree with that at one, never, not no percent do I agree with that. Upgraded, how can you be upgraded to the champion, bro? This is not like, this is not the presidency or the mayor or some political shit. This is fighting, where you win by fighting. fighting, okay? This the only way this the only way you get something in this game is fighting. They handing you championships now? WBC, Boca said they handing you championships now? That's just, as a fighter, how do you get handed the championship? I mean, that's not even, like I said it again, you just imagine that. Just imagine that. You know, fighting is won in the ring. This the ultimate mano y mano. That's the only, I mean, to get upgraded to the championship you're actually denying him to get his hand raised to say, and the new. I don't even think they send you an email and say, oh, we upgraded you to champion. You don't even get in the new. And the new is such a powerful, and the new. All right. So anyway, like I say, Shushu fighting for the vacant championship against the fella's name. I forgot his name, but he's fighting for the vacant championship. Now, I was thinking this too, though, with Keyshawn. I seen that WBC belt. I seen a post where he had with WBC belt, and somebody commented and said, well, why you got WBC belt? Maybe he fighting for the interim. I don't know what's on the line. I didn't see nothing I didn't see nothing. They didn't have nothing up for him, like how they had the ring behind him. They had the WBC. They didn't have none of those up. So maybe it's not an interim fight. Probably a 10-round fight. I don't know. Maybe it's a 12-round eliminator. I don't know. Good question. But like I said, you know, that wouldn't be a bad eliminator. That wouldn't be a bad interim fight. You know what I'm saying? Even though I don't believe in interim championships, but if it's a placeholder for the title, you know what I mean? It's really just a trophy. But, you know, to win the world title, no. Okay, if you're going to have an interim championship, okay, whatever that means. But to upgrade you, it's burnt out. What'd he say? Hold on. He said, I didn't know about the Ring Magazine belt until you made the video with Crawford showing off all his belts. Well, the Ring Magazine go back to the beginning. You know, that's a publication by Nat Flasher. Like I say, I was doing my research, and, you know, they talk about the NBA a lot, which evolved into the WBA, and they had New York State recognition, and they also had the Pennsylvania, a Pennsylvania title was like considered a world championship. So it's always been kind of split to the title. But the Ring Magazine which was awarded to Jack Dempsey and Pancho Villa, was the first two Ring Magazine champions. I don't know who. I think maybe you like the people used to make the titles before that. But you know, you had great fighters like Jimmy Wild, the Mighty Atom from the England that held the flyweight championship for a long time. You know, but the Ring Magazine been around a long time, and I feel like obviously it's like the best championship. It's only one. You know, it's not 4 Ring Magazine championships in a division. You know, it's only one champion in his 10 contenders, and that tradition dates back to 1921 or something like that. So, you know, it's the oldest reigning organization. It's compiled by boxing writers, sports writers, and enthusiasts. You know, and it's based on merit. You know. And I think they have pretty much, at least back then, which nothing is a guarantee, they had a pretty less unbiased policy. And the Ring Magazine counted for everything. They would actually have dinners for you, ceremonies where they would present you with the championship. If you look at various boxing clips, you know, they used to have award dinners where they award you the title. You've seen, if you go look at this documentary, legendary Little Giants with Sugar Ray Robinson. Nat Flash was at the training camp presenting them with the championship, with the Ring Magazine championship. So, yeah. It's the ring or nothing else. Who the first undisputed in the 4-belt era? I think it was Bernard Hopkins, as they said. It's Bernard Hopkins. Because, you know, the WBO was the last one invented. Was the last championship invented in 1988. And it was really a European title. A lot of Europeans held the title for a long time. And before, you know, like you say, it was WBC, WBA, IBF. Before that, the IBF was the last championship to get. The WBA and the WBC go back since the 60s. The IBF was invented in the 80s. A lot of guys gave up the WBC championship to hold the IBF championship. Like Larry Holmes, Aaron Pryor gave up the WBA title to hold the IBF championship. And but the WBO gained a lot of steam because guys like Prince Nassim Hamed, you know, won the title, put it on the map pretty much. You know, he was a European guy. Like I said, a lot of European champions hold the WBO. Then it came to America, and, you know, you had guys like Marco Antonio Barrera hold it. Zab Judah held the 140-pound title a few times. So it just take a little time to get the traction in. I don't think we need no more belts. No more belts. Excuse me, no more belts. But again, the four is good. The four is good. And I just feel like a lot of guys, to become, you are go down as a world champion by holding in one of the titles. And, I mean, man, boxing is so hard, boxing is so hard. And I'm not even going to knock, the four organization titles. Only thing I just knock is that you don't have rankings anymore in any other organizations. Now, back in the day, it used to be that. Like if you go back in the old ring magazines, they would say the IBF champion, WBC champion, but they would have them. You can go into the other rankings because they had the rankings in the back, and you would see those guys ranked in those organizations. So I don't understand how can you be a world champion but not be ranked in any other organization and bodies that's consider themselves world titles. It just don't make no sense. It's almost like they got their own league, which is the Zuffa thing going up. They're about to have a world champion or some kind of championship. So too many belts, and that's my take on that. I just really think, they need to consolidate the belts, or at least give a guy another chance to consolidate with the titles. Look good. I love the belts. I think they all beautiful, and the champion look good with all the belts strapped on them. So, I love the championship belts. I wouldn't, like I say, I would just tone the titles down. But I think Bernard Hopkins was the first one. Jermaine Taylor beat him and inherited the titles. Bernard Hopkins obviously was the middleweight champion. He was the IBF long reigning champion. He beat Keith Holmes, I believe, for the WBC championship. He beat Quincy Taylor for the WBA championship, if I'm not mistaken. And then he beat Felix Trinidad. No, he beat Felix Trinidad for the WBA championship because Felix Trinidad beat William Joppy. So he was IBF champion, beat Quincy Taylor for the WBC. For the WBA, he beat Trinidad. And for the WBO, he beat Oscar De La Hoya. Okay, beat Oscar De La Hoya for the WBO, who really got beat by Felix Stern. So he beat Oscar De La Hoya for the WBO. He beat Quincy Taylor from DC for the WBC, and he beat Trinidad for the WBA, who knocked out William Joppy in a great fight. Go watch that fight if you've seen Felix Trinidad. I think he was at his absolute best in that fight, and it was a great fight by Felix Trinidad. He says, Bull City says, yeah, he put his finger in dude's face and dude popped him if you look closer. He ain't hit him, but he acted like he tried. He acted like he tried. He says, we don't like Josh in Scotland. Hey, Josh Taylor, he fell off bad, didn't he? He went from undisputed champion, had some good fights, solidified his undisputed reign with some good fights. But I don't know why they stripped him for all the titles. I don't know why they did that. It works too hard. You work too hard to become an undisputed champion for to get stripped like that. It's crazy. It's like they did with Charlo. It was just crazy. Swift Hordes 365 says, hey, Bernie, salute, bro. Appreciate you. Ty for always speaking from the heart. Thank you, man. Appreciate you again. Like I say, appreciate everybody. Franchise champion is sucker accolades. And like I said, it don't make no sense. What the hell is a franchise champion? When you already, like I say, you got a guys like the franchise champions is guys like a Canelo or a guy like how Lomachenko was. It's lesser known or as put in as esteemed champions in WBC. So it's just like your franchise player. It's some probably really good players on the team and they're NBA players, but the franchise player, they're coming to see Allen Iverson. You know what I'm saying? Mostly. If you get to see the rest of them, that's great too. But Allen Iverson was a franchise player. Michael Jordan, Kevin Durant, Steph Curry, those type of guys, so that type of situation. So the franchise, you don't need a belt to be a fucking franchise. The franchise tag speaks for itself. You're the one in the more spotlight. You're the one getting paid bigger than the other WBC champion. Just stupid shit just don't make no sense. And they just greedy. The WBC is greedy. They showed that. You know what I'm saying? It's not even, you can get mad at me for saying it, but it's just the proof is in the pudding. Here we talking about it, Here we talking about it. They just showing you anyway. Just don't make no sense. And it causes confusion That shit caused a lot of confusion, a lot of riffraff. You know, WBC, Devin Haney upset because, you know what I'm saying, they upgrading to the champion. Then they blocking Lomachenko from fighting Devin Haney. So, you know what I'm saying, then Lomachenko like, I'm the real champion and, you know, hiding behind the franchise tag. So it just caused a lot of confusion with that shit too anyway. And who is at the forefront of that shit? The WBC. I swear to God, the WBC. And here they go upgrading Billy. And he got a draw with Lester Martinez, arguably lost the fight, and you upgrade him to the champion? Come on, bro. Show some integrity and have them fight for your title. You just let motherfuckers get upgraded to your championships, then how much is your championship worth for real? It devalues the championship. All right. All those boxers should be ashamed for. I said the same thing. Where was his guys at? Where was his guys at? Lulu, appreciate you. Said, let's go, Bernie. Appreciate you, man. Okay. Yeah, man. Okay, so listen, like I said, you know, come on now. I got the super chats up. Come on, got the super chats. Y'all want to grow the channel? You know what I'm saying? I've been doing a lot of things just on the strength. You know what I'm saying? Come support the kid. You feel me? Get my likes up. I got 89 people in this building. Y'all need 89 likes. You know what I'm saying? Listen, I got 89 people. Just salute $1. Just $1. You know what I'm saying? I know it's just going in there. Send it to the super chat. $1. Send it to the Cash App. Bernie the Boxer. Just $1. I got 89. Just $1. I ain't asking there. Just $1. You want to help the channel grow? Keep me going. Keep me motivated. Just send $1. Appreciate you. All right. Xander Zayas, like I say, going up in a unification fight over in Puerto Rico. You know, it don't get no better than that. I haven't watched Abrash yet. But, you know, Xander is a young champion. They've been grooming him. He's made it to the championship. Now he's getting a unified. That's great management. Great management. Great management. Great management. Because who did Boots fight? Was that for the interim or something? Was that for some type of title or something that Boots fought? I don't know. But that's where I'd have been looking for if I was Boots to grab a hold of one of those championships, man. I would have went for a Bros right away. But his manager, shout out to his manager, they swooped in on that. They swooped in on that. Swift Horror says T.O. is losing. He says, what time y'all fighting tomorrow from South Jersey? Well, I don't know the time zone out there, but we the first fight of the night, Sunday, which is Sunday. Zuffa fights on Sunday, I'm guessing. So we fighting Sunday, February the 1st. We're the first fight of the night. Jamar, No Mercy, Tally. All right. He says Haney's whooped that man. Didn't they? Oh, man, they jumped on. I'm so mad about that. A lot of new boxers make $400 for a 4-rounder starting out. That's that used to be $100 a round. Not with Zuffa. They didn't bumped up that price significantly. Yeah, it used to be. That's what I fought for. $100 a round. Now I think I little made more than that. I think I made $800 for my first pro fight. And that was that 2005. I made $800. Burning my people, I met him in Vegas. He the same all the time. You know it. I don't know no other way. Will we see an undisputed featherweight champion? Good. At least Ring Magazine. At least Ring Magazine. You know what I'm saying? You know, like I say, I think undisputed means just no dispute. There's no doubt as who the champion is. Now, that don't mean he's always the best fighter in the division. You know, just because he has the Ring Magazine, he might not always be the best fighter in the division because, you know, like I say, sometimes even the sun shine on the dog ass someday. But, you know, I think it gives some clarity. You know, we having a hard time, Shushu having a hard time getting what's the fella's name in there, and he did call him out on TV, and we still haven't seen nothing. What's the fella's name? The tall fella, Ramirez or something. What's his name? And they all in the WBO and top rank with WBO. Shushu. Didn't happen. Shushu wanted to smoke with everybody. He said Nick Ball. He wanted Stephen Fulton. You know what I'm saying? Looking for Nick Ball. The other guy, the tall fella, Espinoza. Sorry, his name is Espinoza. Espinoza, he got the WBO title. He's about to fight soon too. Nick Ball, the WBA champion. Shushu, possibly the WBC champion. And what's the other fellas? Angelo Leo, IBF champion. So at least Ring Magazine. If I'm Shushu or any of the champions, at least let me fight somebody so I can get the Ring Magazine. Bernie, how do you feel about Greg Hacker calling you Crawford Nah, Greg Hagan didn't say that. Greg Hagan didn't say that. If Greg, I know Greg Hagan didn't say that. Maybe he did say that. I don't know because if he did say that, I don't know. I don't know. Me and Greg, we get along good. I don't know that. You know what I'm saying? And I'll be disappointed in Greg if he did that because he knows my position and my role, and he know I know boxing for real. You know what I'm saying? And man, he was a boxer too. I was a boxer, so I don't know about that. I don't know. Maybe if he was upset because what I said about Jesse Hart or something, or Khalil Cole. They both was terrible. They was terrible. True story. That fight shouldn't have been on television. They both look bad. Both of them look bad. Both of them look bad. Backroom Mirza Talayev, Josh Kelly prediction. I haven't seen Josh Kelly. I swear it takes me a little bit of time to jump, to get with those European guys. I'm just not. I just take me a little bit of time to get on the bandwagon of those European guys. Like I say, so I would favor Mirza Talayev, but again, we just never know. He looked like the boogeyman. He seems like the boogeyman. He looked tremendous against Tim Tszyu, who was already kind of compromised. And still not taking away from Mirza Talayev. He just murdered Tim Tszyu, and he looks like a killer. So I was favoring Mirza Talayev. I like the fact that he's gaining steam, so I would like to see him gain steam, so maybe Boots could knock him off, you know what I'm saying, and get all the glory, you know what I'm saying. I'm rooting for Boots, so I would like to see him take that boogeyman title and, you know what I'm saying, just glow up, you know what I'm saying. Shout out to Boots, man, for real. True story. I like him. I think he's a good fighter, and I just want to see him show and prove, and I just want to see him live up to all the expectations. I finally catch you live, champ. Much love from Jersey. Oh, Jersey. Hey, Tippy Larkin. If you got, like I say, I'm throwing these names out there. Look up Tippy Larkin. Was a world champion, one of the first early champions at 140 pounds. Johnny Jaddick, man, just like I say, look up these guys, Tippy Larkin, Johnny Jaddick. It's a lot of champions that we don't know. A lot of people that's missed by the mainstream, but so just stuff to do, just get to know some of these guys. And like I say, Tippy Larkin was from Jersey. So all the Jersey people in there, look up Tippy Larkin, Who else we had on there? Willie Joyce. Man, it's a lot of great champions, but man, so here we go. Who does say? What percentage would you say Keyshawn gets the stoppage? Keyshawn gets the stoppage. I believe he could. Man, the percentage. Let me just throw something out there. I would say I give him 60%. I give him a little over 50. I give him 60%. I give him 60%. Jermaine Taylor has been in with some seasoned guys, but I say in there with a much more dynamic fighter than Keyshawn Davis, a hungry fighter, anxious to get back to the top, put the past behind him, and stake his claim as a top contender for the junior welterweight championship. So I'm gonna say 60. I'm gonna say 60%. He says Shakur will show levels, but it's gonna be his toughest challenge. I agree. I mean, I think he's the most accomplished fighter, and I think he faced some good fighters. But T.O. presents the biggest challenge with his perceived power, with his boxing ability, his fast hands, his good feet. Oscar Valdez didn't have that, and that was his biggest fight. That was his biggest fight to date right now was Oscar Valdez. He's always had trouble getting Lomachenko in the ring with him. If you heard Pop saying he was trying to get Santa Cruz in before, he couldn't get Santa Cruz. So, this is his biggest fight. And I think it's the challenge that he wants. Like I say, he always going for the best. He always calling out the best. He wants to see where he at. He's always looking to challenge himself. So you got to love a guy like that that's always looking to challenge himself. How can you not like a guy like that? No matter what it is, you know what I'm saying? And the way he fights is the way he's fighting. You can't, but can you beat him? Can you solve that riddle? I don't know. I'm calling him Mr. Unbeatable. I'm calling him Boy Wonder. Okay. Most people think boxing is just standing in the middle of the ring. Never. It's a quote from George Foreman, who was not a great boxer. Was a puncher. He said, boxing is like jazz. The better it is, the less it's appreciated. Sad. Appreciate you, Swift Horror. Yes, sir, for the $2. He says, T.O. and Ryan antics hurts the fight's promotion. I don't know if it hurts the fight's promotion, but I feel like it's unnecessary. Some of the stuff is just unnecessary. Some of the stuff you just don't have to do. And again, boxing is a manly sport. It's not a clown sport. The fights are entertaining. That's what it's supposed to be. The weigh-ins doesn't have to be entertaining. The lead up. If you go back to traditional boxing, and boxing was had 50,000. There was was one of the biggest sports in the world at one time. The guys gave those honest predictions and honest thoughts against their opponent. They talk well. And it wasn't no hoopla. I won't say the fighters didn't have like personalities, but they wasn't going out their way to demean the fighter or things like that, But it's always been little antics, though. And I ain't going to say that. It's always been a little shit talking in them fights. I'm reading a book on Bob Fitzsimmons, and then when he fought Jim Corbett, he hated Jim Corbett, Jim Corbett was the second heavyweight champion, of course, in the gloved era right after John L. Sullivan. And Bob Fitzsimmons, he hated Jim Corbett. So, they had a little ruse. They talked a lot of stuff. Jack Johnson was the first black champ. He had Jim Jeffries come over to the black section when they fought in the Fight of Century 1910. He had him come over to the black section to sign the contract to fight him. So it's always been something, but some things they can just go too far with. He says, Vitek fan 87, my dude Bernie, yes sir, it's yours truly. I wish Cam Awesome went pro. Cam Awesome. He changed his name to Cam Awesome. Salute, Bernie. BVO Sports TV. Appreciate you, baby. Trinidad. Yes, sir. Hitman Sports Media is a dog, boy. Stevenson Lopez fighting UK cost $29. Not bad. Not bad. Not bad. Over here on the States is $69.99. Okay. With Keyshawn, it's going to depend if his power can. I think, oh yeah. But he throws his punches at a velocity, and his punch selection is crazy. That's what the thing about getting them knockouts. It's not just necessarily the thudding power, but the punch selection, the velocity of the punches, Your integrity is top tier. I appreciate you all the way from PA. Appreciate you. What's with you, Bernie? I caught another live one. What up with you, Pop? With two pops. Okay. Pisces, that's right. February 25, baby, huh? I'm just a dreamer. I'm just a dreamer. Bill Haney would knock me out. I doubt it. I doubt it. Why they ain't let Lester fight for it? My question exactly. I mean, like I said, it goes with the integrity. Why not? It puts a bigger incentive, to get upgraded to the challenge. I would have told. This is what they said about John L. Sullivan. This is how tough he was when they made him a championship belt. Actually, it was Richard Fox. Richard Fox had a magazine called the Police Gazette, if I'm not mistaken. And when he won the championship, they awarded him the championship belt. John L. Sullivan said, I wouldn't put that thing around of a neck of a goddamn dog. He said, I wouldn't put that thing around the neck of a goddamn dog. That's what he said about the championship, man. Man, so I don't know. Like I say, man, it's WBC, man. They losing me on that one. Okay. Old school, I'm missing. Yes, sir. Tim Bradley got yellow teeth. What that got to do with anything? The Shakur fight with T.O., who you got? Decision or knockout on betting. Your better judgment to go with most likely would be a decision for Shakur. But like I say, I just like to see him step it up a little bit more, put some more pressure on him, use his legs a little bit more, to kind of get the guys out of position and kind of set up his offense a little bit more like Floyd did. I know everybody can't beat Floyd, but I'm saying in that mode, even like Crawford did, set up his offense a little bit more, catch him off guard, you know. So that's what I would expect. But I'm expecting Shakur to come up and, man, I don't know. I'm just excited about the fight. I don't know how it's going to go. Like I say, I thought it's going to be a very tactical fight. Very tactical fight. It's going to be very tactical. Bernie, why no consequences for doing drugs in boxing? I've seen boxers do drugs to dodge fighters. I don't know. I think you should. I don't even think those things should be, I don't even know why they make them. Because it really do you no good. Just like, but money, competition and money. Just like the pharmaceutical drugs, they know the stuff ain't no good for you. It just only keep you, what it do, like help you deal with it. It don't never cure you. None of this shit never cures you. And then it calls you to something else. You know what I'm saying? So it's always a side effect of something else, but when the temptation to win is so strong, it'll make you do some crazy things. Money, fame will make you do some crazy things, man. And they got and it's out there. The stuff is out there. They got something for you to get into it. It's always gonna be something. They gonna make something for you. Okay, you want to spend that money, they gonna make something to spend the money on. You want to do this, they gonna make it for you. Something out there. It's a market for everything. Nico Prince Sr. says, man, Bernie, you make boxing seem so interesting. This is a brother who found purpose in life. You can feel it through the screen. Man, I love the knowledge you spit, Bernie. Thanks. Appreciate you, man. Hey, I appreciate you, and I'm glad you found purpose in life because it's a lot of things that can get you down in this thing, man. It's a lot of things, it's a lot of hurtful things, that's just out of our control that can sour our daily life, Like they say, you got to start living because all you do is stress and work, and you never really get to live. And a lot of things that's worth living for is free, So like I say, watching the birds chirping, the sunshine, breath, fresh air, things like that. The small things in life, you got to take them in and enjoy them, because we only get one shot at this thing. Jeff Epps was FBI champ and CIA champ. Who the fuck is Jeff Epps? All right. I rock with Bernie, though. Appreciate you. Your boy Mambo. Yes, sir. Suge Knight Cigar. Appreciate the $1.99. Bernie always schooling and giving games. Salute. Yes, sir. Chris Legg, my boy. What's happening? Joe Rogan died? When? No way. Joe Rogan died? No. Wow. Appreciate you. CBZ. He says, I think Greg didn't like how you were putting down Jesse Hart too much. I didn't put him down too much, and I did get him guys to stay in A count, but they fought terrible, though. You know what I'm saying? Like, for real, like, I don't even care, bro. I'm going to tell my fighter off the top, you know what I mean? You didn't perform well. You know what I'm saying? You didn't perform well, and that's what it's about, performing well. No, I didn't think that he performed well. No, I didn't think Khalil Cole performed well. I know they from Philadelphia, but like I say, I'm not from Philadelphia, so he just telling the truth. I'm just telling the truth. So how you can't get mad at telling the truth? He didn't perform well, period. And if you've seen all the stuff they was talking on the internet against each other, they definitely didn't live up to that. So, you know what I'm saying? But it's cool, you know what I mean? I don't know. I don't take none of that stuff personally. I ain't gonna take none of those things personally. People can say what they want, I can't get to them. They can't get to me. So I don't care. People always gonna say, but I know who it is and I know what it is. You feel me? Like, I really do this boxing thing. I really was a decent boxer. I really was a really good boxer, and all that good stuff. And I study boxing. I love boxing. I really take this stuff serious, so, and again, I'm with the best in the world. Who he with? Feel me? I helped shape one of the best in the world that ever did this shit. You know what I'm saying? I had a heavy influence on the best, the Ring Magazine Fighter of the Year. You know what I'm saying? Come on now. So, you know what I mean? Come on now. Hey, like I say, they brought me in for the, I've been an asset from day one, never the liability. You feel me? I was 3-0 as a pro. You understand? Come on now. I was national runner-up. Where was he at? You feel me? I don't know. I ain't gonna say what he said or if he did say it or he didn't. But if he did, I asked him that. You feel me? I was undefeated. You know what I'm saying? I know he ain't fought too much better competition than me. Feel me? I went 9 years with no fights. You know what I'm saying? And came back and looked sharp still. You feel me? So, you know what I'm saying? Ain't nobody tell me nothing about no boxing, boy. What's up, Brain? Just have one. What's up with T.O. Pops? Burnt out. Did you see him wave was just through? Just don't make no sense. No class, no dignity, no integrity. That's where he get it from. If your dad act like this, you can see where it come from. You know what I'm saying? Now, Shakur, I don't know where his pops is at, but I feel like, I don't know. I don't want to say Jay Prince is like his pops, but you know what I'm saying? He's definitely like a role model. I can see here a lot of people look up to Jay. And you know how Jay carry himself, real cool, real OG style. You know what I'm saying? And he kind of takes up for that. You know what I'm saying? So your pops acting dumb, you acting dumb. You know, y'all just both looking like straight clowns. Just sad. Real Men Boxing 2008 says, what's up, Bernie? Put the E on it, man. Put the E on it, man. Put the E on there, man. Not the U, man. Put the E up there, man. Feel me? Put the E up there. Do you think Shakur will punish T.O. and just be a dog tomorrow like Floyd did Gaddy? Well, Gaddy was at disadvantage in hand speed and everything. T.O. is not at a disadvantage like that. That's why his fight gonna be so crazy. Shout out to North Carolina. It's gonna be so crazy. Bernie, I'm glad Bud gave Showbiz the cold shoulder today. That dude is two-faced anyway. I'm good. Showbiz trash. All right. Like I say, I don't understand what he be saying that's so good and why people fuck with him. I don't understand that. But he doing his thing. Ring Magazine called him up. I don't know why. What? He don't know about no boxing. They just say anything. But shout out to Showbiz, you know what I'm saying? Shout out to Bud for, you know what I'm saying, knowing what it is. Like, we don't know no sucker shit, no bullshit, no clown shit, boy. Get your ass on. All right, so listen. I done went a little bit over my time. Brother Bernie, appreciate you. Fantasy, fat, whatever, it's 1906. What's up, big bro? Appreciate you. Boat Right says, salute, Bernie. Come on, put the E on there, man. It's B-E-R, man. Man, Bird. And Gucci boys, Bird. Hey, Bernie, do you have any advice for me and my daughter? She's 10 years old, and she is very promising to be a great boxer. This is her second week, and she's taking training well, and she's tough. Well, you know, just keep working. I think sports is a great situation for a girl. You know, it gives them purpose. You know, it's a lot of stuff for them girls to get into, a lot of stuff to worry about. But I think sports is good. She got some good role models to look up to, and Clarissa Shields. You know, it's a top amateur named Baby Bug. You know, Marley, what's her name? Marley McNeil, I think. You know what I'm saying? Baby Bug, though, she goes by Baby Bug. You know, she's like 18-time national champion. And, you know, I got the chance to meet her in 2020. She didn't grow so big now. She's a little baby girl with the ponytails. You know what I mean? I met her at the bowling alley. And they like, yeah, the pops like, yeah, she a boxer. I'm like, for real? I'm like, okay, she's a boxer. You know what I'm saying? Just like, all right. She got this little, this like a little, you know, a little baby. You got the pigtails, you know what I'm saying? It's like she's a boxer. And she knew who I was. You know what I mean? So she been boxing for a long time and been studying boxing and watching boxing. So she knew who I was. Turns out to be Baby Bug. You feel me? 17-time national champ, #1 in the country at 132 pounds right now. You know what I mean? So I think sports is good for any girl. You know, we got a top amateur named Jasmine. She's like come up just short for the national championship, 119-pounder. And I think sports is great. So just keep her involved, man. Keep supporting her. You know, keep supporting her. And also just have her watch boxing. You know, have her watch boxing, both men and women. You know, men and women. You know, so you can learn some things. You know, boxing is just boxing. And just have her watch boxing, learn some things, put her with great coaches, and always encourage her. And you know, you got to push her. If she want to be the best, she got to work. Okay. Who you got, Keyshawn or Haney, if it went down? I'm going with Key, man. I'm sticking with the businessman, man. I'm going with Key, man. But I don't think that'll be easy fight. You know, I think it'd be a great fight. It's a beautiful fight. You see the way they was talking. They said, you know what I'm saying, is it gonna be next and this and that, him and Bill. Great fight, you know what I'm saying? Great fight. I want to see this a big fight. We want to see these big fights. And that's what's going to get people involved in boxing when there's not no clear winner, when they're evenly matched at the highest level. CRC has said, did you miss me in my Bernie the Boxer voice? Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Appreciate y'all, man, so much, man. So listen, you know, I'm kind of getting, you know what I'm saying, I'm wearing myself out over here. But again, I appreciate everybody in the chat, man. Appreciate all the likes. Now I got 108 likes and 80 people in there, you know what I'm saying? Appreciate the super chats, man. So like I say, you know, we got the big fights tomorrow. Oh, my God. It's going down tomorrow so much. Tomorrow, so much boxing. You got Merz Chilayev going up somewhere fighting Josh Kelly, defending the IBF Junior Middleweight Championship. You got Xander Zayas in the Junior Middleweight Championship. You know what I'm saying? In the consolidation with the WBA champion, Abras. You know, so we got 3 portions of the title on the line tomorrow night at Junior Middleweight. You know, you got the Ring Magazine and the WBO Championship going up against Teofimo Lopez and Shakur Stevenson going up, you know, which is the championship of the division. You know, you got Keyshawn Davis making his anticipated return against Jermaine Ortiz. You got Shushu Carrington going up in his first world title in his hometown, New York City. So like I say, tomorrow is, like he said, the Super Bowl of boxing, okay? So with that, man, I appreciate everybody in the chat. You know who it is. It's yours truly, Bernie the Boxer. And just like that, man, I'm gone. I said I'm gone. I'm gone.